Okay, we're going to try some more examples of this, but there's going to be one extra catch. Now we're going to write in the format a times quantity x plus h squared plus k. Notice this a is a new thing that wasn't there before. And we need a thing like this called a because now the coefficient of x squared is no longer a hidden 1. Now we have like a 2 in this example. So we're going to have to do things just a little different. That plus 1, still write it way off to the side. And then for the remaining, the first two terms, I'd like to factor out this number here. 2, when you factor out, you'll have 2. And then in parentheses, you'll have x squared plus 10x. Now I left a lot of space in parentheses because looking at that 10, we would say 10 is linear coefficient, 5 is the second stick, 25 is a number that we'd like to add. But what we're going to do is add 25 and subtract 25 both inside the parentheses. Then this next step, you might skip writing it in the future, but I'd like to try to clarify the key places where things are confusing for folks. And I've grouped together the first three terms in parentheses. So in its own new set of parentheses. And then you can distribute the 2 to the first group of things. So you have 2 times x squared plus 10x plus 25. And then also distribute 2 to the minus 25. And you have minus 2 times 25. And there's still this plus 1 hanging out here. So 2 times the 3 terms in parentheses, that can factor. So 2 times quantity x plus 5 squared. Minus 2 times 25 plus 1. That part I just left alone. We could have started simplifying that, but that's technically a minus 50 and a plus 1, which will be a minus 49. Okay, so then we have something that's truly in the right format. A would be 2, h would be 5, and then k up here would be negative 49. Now, it would be an error to write this. This is a common thing that people will do. We'll write the plus 25 inside parentheses and write minus 25 outside of parentheses. Why is that an issue? If you really think about what's going on effectively, because the 25 is written in parentheses, think about later in another step when you distribute 2. That'd be like adding 50 while subtracting only 25. So if you add 25 in parentheses, you would also need to subtract the 25 in parentheses. Let's do another example. Rewrite 6x to the second minus 12x plus 17 in the same format. So factor out a 6 from the first two terms, write that plus 17 way after. Now, taking a look inside parentheses, there's that minus 2 as a linear coefficient. So minus 1 would be the second stick. And so taking the number minus 1, if you square it, you'll get plus 1. So plus 1 is the number I'd like to add, but we have to add that number both inside parentheses and subtract that number inside parentheses. Okay, if you stick this minus 1 here to the right of the parenthesis, then you would end up adding 6 but only subtracting 1 if you really work out what's going on here. So we have a plus 1, minus 1 all inside parentheses there. And then I'm choosing to distribute 6 in slightly a funky way, so written a little different than last time, just as a slight speed up here. So 6 times, and then the first 3 terms as a group, and then minus 6 times the last term 1, or negative 1, and then plus 17. The first 3 terms will factor as x minus 1 quantity squared, and then simplify negative 6 plus 17. That should actually be a positive 11, so sorry about the typo.